Welcome to the stream.
Woo! Nice.
So I know Adam's here, and Ultrawave said he was going to show up, but oh no, not ASMR. I don't want any ASMR. So when we first started this, we were gonna do like play games and answer questions, but we are kind of turning it into like going over what happened in each episode. Shelby is here too.
Hey, Shelby.
Hi, Shelby.
Yeah, I don't think we couldn't eventually play games again. It's just we didn't really have a lot of interest in that part of it, and I think this is more fun for us anyway.
Yeah.
But certainly, if people want to start joining and playing games again, I'd be all for that.
And if you have questions, send them to Kevin.
Please don't. I will say this is a spoiler alert. We are going to be spoiling Dead Sons episode 126, 127, 128, 129, and Patreon show episode 5. So
before we talk about each one, we'll let you know in case anyone comes in late.
I am going to have a text on screen that says spoiler alert episode and then the episode number.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So,
taking it up a level.
Yeah, I'm a producer here.
Real high tech in it.
So what do you want to is there anything you guys wanted to start with, or do you just want to get into the episode not recap, but like talk about stuff?
You know, I don't have anything other.
Hold on. I am having some bad internet issues right now.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. I think we're always having some sort of internet issues. Everybody in the world, everywhere.
It's true.
I might have to restart my internet.
Oh no.
All right, well, we'll pause the stream. I gotta go, like I said.
Oh, I think I figured.
So now we're getting real intimate.
All right.
Man, what a terrible producer we have.
Yeah. Hey, it's not my fault. It's the internet's fault.
Well, it seems like a producer issue.
All right. Adam, can you see us? Are we good? Okay, it was because I have my VPN on. That would be why. I think. Boner achieved. Message is held for review. Show that. We're going to show Adam's boner.
Oh no.
All
It's
right.
a picture message.
Not Des or Des and Chris are not using. Oh, Chris went to go do something, and then Des is your laptop can't even handle Roll20. So, all right. So let's start off with Dead Sons, episode 126.
All right. Oh.
Is that a spoon? You got a spoon?
It's my tiny spoon.
It's your tiny spoon. Hold on. Background. Is there an outline? Here we go. Select.
Well, we have New Year's resolutions on there.
Yeah, we do.
Does that mean we're going to discuss them and how we're doing on the 28th of January?
I don't even remember what my resolutions were. So go for it, Des.
Mine was to be more productive, and it's kind of happening, but also my sleep is still kind of all wacky, so
I get that.
It can use some improvement. What about you, Alex?
I believe I said mine was to develop superpowers
Not going well then.
It's not been going well.
We'll get to Chris here in a minute. Let's see. So we start off the episode with, I think we finished the fight with the robots in the previous episode, and I believe, well, Chris wrote down the wrong name. Raquel and Sev were taking 10 minutes while Razel and Rats went to investigate the computer room. Then we got Death Raid.
Yeah, that was a bad start.
Yeah. I did call it though.
Yeah,
I did call it.
got a token.
Yeah, it was worth a token, which I have right here. And then I hoisted Rats up like a child, and he disabled the trap. It was great.
I will say I'm happy that after the sex change and like the tension between you two, you guys have really been able to form this friendship, this closeness that Rats doesn't really let too many people have.
Yeah, it's weird. What's happening? What's happening in our party?
Nothing.
Nothing. See, disabled the trap. There was these dead guys. They were hooked up in the brain, and I killed them. We learn more about that in a later episode, and then we have a fight with a very small spaceship.
Yeah.
Which was super weird.
It was kind of cool to say that we got to battle a ship when we weren't in one.
Yeah, it was interesting. I think Chris said the combat was specifically made for that part right in that section of the book. It has most spaceships don't have like ACs when taking fire from ground troops, just because usually they don't do any damage. Or they're considered like hard material. It's like shooting a wall, basically.
Gotcha.
And it's not very detrimental when all you need is a potion to revert back to preferred gender. It's true. It's true. Let's see here. We fought the spaceship using the crane. First it was me and Rats. And then Rats was like, "Here, you do it." And then he went and jumped on the freaking the ship, which was pretty cool.
It's true. You got to show off all them fancy flips. Actually, I don't know if he flipped on there, but it was still pretty fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was no flipping, so I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I'm sorry.
I don't know.
It was definitely a cool moment for like just saying I got to fly around on a ship that I was blasting the hull off of. Like, that moment felt really cool.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, getting to use the jetpack to just like lift off of the ground is always a fun thing to picture.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if we actually had someone who could draw like a scene, like that would be one of them.
Yeah, for sure.
If
anyone out there wants to do that, that's an idea.
Because we don't have any artistic skills. Let's see here. Oh, is Chris back?
Oh,
Chris is back.
I'm back.
Welcome
Yeah.
back.
Hey, I got some artistic skills here. Remember this guy?
I do. It's kind of hard to see him.
I don't think we want any of our characters being two-dimensional, though. Ah.
So we're talking about the ship fight in the hangar.
Yeah. Where are we on that? What? You just
We were
start?
talking about we were talking about when Alex did not flip onto it, but jumped onto it.
Jump jets. Yeah.
Jetpack.
Jetpack. Yeah. Jump jets was early on.
Glow drop needs art. Well, I mean, he technically does. I can show it to
Yeah,
you.
but not that we can use.
I can. I got you, Adam. Hold on.
Oh, high-tech producer stuff again.
Yeah, totally.
We
Can't wait
can't
to see
post
this.
it on our socials, but
Yeah.
for this, we'll let you see.
Yeah, because of copyright stuff.
There's nothing social about this.
Talk about stuff while I'm looking this up.
Okay. Thank God for those cranes in that room, because Raquel wouldn't have been able. Like, I feel like I've been halted on doing a lot of my spells because they're mind affecting, but there's no way any of my stuff would have done anything to that ship.
Yeah, and I was really, when I read that encounter, I was like, "Oh, this is because we haven't done anything like that before, players versus ships." And I know Ryan was like trying to figure out why it didn't work, but they were, it wasn't special rules in the book, like I mentioned. It was right in the core rule book, and I knew it would be kind of a slog. So I was like, "How are they going to find out about this crane unless they went into that room first?" And I was able to tell them about it. And luckily, a lot of things changed because of the fact that Rats ended up winning over Kenneth. So it really altered the flow of events there and really gave you the opportunity to kind of explore that before the fight immediately broke out with the ship. So it's interesting. You know, we know that we're doing an AP. We know that things are kind of railroaded. However, there was still like some major changes that occurred from just that one spell being casted. So it really, in some aspects, it really helped. In other aspects, it didn't help. But at the end of the day, getting to know that crane worked to your advantage was huge, I think, for that fight.
Yeah. So, quick question then: if Rats hadn't have like befriended them, I guess that's the way to put it. Would we have, like, even if we were taken into custody and handcuffed and everything, would we have still had to get into that fight?
With the ship?
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to say, but
Not yet, at least.
Don't want to. Yeah,
Save that question for later, Des.
Yeah,
I'll forget it, but okay.
But it did alter the flow of events in some significant ways. So we can talk about it at a much later show.
Okay.
Adam says Glowdrop looks like Sputter from Fire Force. I don't know what that is.
Yes, I don't know because I don't know anything.
Adam, post that picture for us.
Yeah, give us some artwork, Adam.
Let's see. So we finished the episode with a final crane hit that knocks it. Oh, it's an anime. It knocks it out of the air, and Rats dodges a shelf, and then the cockpit opens. Oh, hi, Katie. Yeah? Okay. And then, Chris, I wrote down sound effects. You wanted to talk about sound effects.
Yeah, so we kind of mentioned it a little bit during the episode itself. I made the complaint about no sound in space, ultrawave. Later, I forget if it was in the Discord or what, but mentioned that you would be able to hear muffled sounds, and so I was just kind of thinking about it in the editing process. I mean, it makes it easier to tell the story. Like you hear this, this happens. Taking away sound is like is really annoying, especially when I finally have some characters that can actually talk versus monsters that are kind of mindless or have no language. And I kept going back and forth. Like, is realism, more important, or are we trying to tell the story? And so I know that Kevin, you mentioned about sound effects, muffling them, different ways to do that.
Mhm.
And I was just kind of going back and forth. Like, I don't really want to muffle them. I would rather have that, that extra theatrical piece of it versus no, let's be as realistic as possible. So I don't know. I kind of want to throw it to you and anybody else. Like, is theatrics more important or realism? When you have to pick one or the other, where would you rather go?
Well,
Go for it.
in my opinion, I think it's cat butt. I think the way I think about it is like, well, the option is full sound, no sound, or muffled sounds. The fact that we are in an area where there's no atmosphere, I think the muffled sounds make sense. And I think
Mhm.
no sounds is definitely like sucks. Like it would suck to compare to our other episodes where we have sound effects, and then suddenly we suddenly don't have sound effects because of this thing that happened.
Mhm.
God damn it!
Cat butt right in that screen.
It just doesn't make any sense to me not putting in sound effects, but I think muffling them to make it different from just being in an atmosphere makes sense to me.
What were you gonna say, Des?
Oh, I'm pretty much on that same page, especially because we are an audio form of entertainment. So I feel like we are kind of limited on how we can show that, because if we just like didn't have sound, that would really kind of suck. Theatrics are always nice, but I definitely prefer the muffled sound, some sort of sound effect to show the difference.
Yeah, I don't know. I was torn. I kind of used it when I was first editing that. Like, well, I guess I don't have to do sound effects. It's like, this is gonna be real easy to make this edit. But then I really just wanted to go full bore with the sound effects. I mean, I think I referenced in the episode Firefly and Star Trek. Like, I'd rather just, I have them full blast and that's it. But that's just me. I mean, I think that heightens the experience, even though it's not quite realistic. I'd rather just not worry about muffling them.
Ultra
you
Wave
say,
made
Al?
it.
Ultra
Ultra
Wave.
How's it going, my guy?
Did you have a preference, Alex?
I feel like the rest of us are all on the same page. I feel like if the real difference was either full sound effects or no sound effects, like I would lean to full sound effects.
Yeah.
But by having muffled sound effects, you're still kind of paying homage to the fact that we're in space, we're in a vacuum, while still getting the benefits of having sound effects there. So it's like acknowledging that there is that like difference present all the time, while not doing the complete silence, which would kind of be a pain in the ass to describe, and just dealing with small things in role play even.
Yeah, I was just like, is there any good examples of shows where they do that, where they take that approach? Like, I don't even know. Like I said, the only comparisons I have are like Firefly, where there was just absolutely nothing during the space battles, versus pretty much every other sci-fi genre where they just say to hell with it and they do it. Are there any good examples of shows where they do take this muffled approach
Not
to
a
pay homage?
show, but Dead Space has it goes in and out of vacuum and no vacuum all the time, like constantly.
Hmm.
I think that's a good example because there's a definite sound difference from when you're in a vacuum to when you're not in a vacuum, and that's basically where that's when I think of muffling sounds for a vacuum. That's where my head went to first because I've played Dead Space. I played through all 3 of them. Ultrawave says The Expanse does a good job.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still working my way through that one.
I need to start it at some point. I'm in season 7 of Mythbusters, guys. Still in season 7.
Out of
20. I'm at the end of season
Amazing.
7 though. I got like 3 episodes left. But yeah, you can watch me and Ultrawave's playthrough of Dead Space 3 on his YouTube channel.
Oh.
That's how. Okay. As far as other shows, I'm trying to think of other sci-fi stuff that I've seen.
Galaxy Quest.
Never seen it.
Oh,
Classic.
no.
You got to see that, man. They kept talking about making a sequel too for the longest time, and then with Alan Rickman dying, like that kind of went on the wayside. But I think I remember Tim Allen tweeting about it recently that they're still trying to come up with a way to do it. It's just it was really hard because it was. But they said it was really hard because it was going to focus on Commander Taggart and I can't remember what the doctor's name is at this point. Alan Rickman. It was really going to focus on their 2 relationships. So.
Wow.
The one guy that dies is the most crucial there, of course, but they said they're still trying to work out a way to do it.
Deep fake,
or maybe just completely revamping the whole story. I didn't get the whole bit, but anyhow, yeah, you got to see that, man. It's a good one.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure it's not the same, but I imagine muffled sounds in space are like the sounds things make while you are underwater. Yeah, that was also. Where some of that's definitely a comparison that I would make.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll do the next adventure underwater.
All right, so and then the episode ended, and well, let's get on to 127. Hold on, let me properties. We're gonna change to 127. All right. Okay, so I don't. Why did you write Coral Sea?
Oh, that was the sea fact.
Oh, okay. Anything you guys want to say about a sea fact? No. Okay.
It was our first example of a double C fact.
Oh,
yeah, that was historic.
It was historic. Yeah.
Everything's historic now.
Let's see. We continued the fight because when it ended, it opened the door. We beat him up pretty easily. To be honest,
grabbed that guy with the.
Oh right, you did. You grabbed him with the crane. That was crazy.
My original idea for the episode before, because I knew it was going to be my turn next, I was going to try and peel that door open from the ship. But then when he said it opened, I'm like, I'm grabbing him.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Yeah, I was really conflicted about that. I was glad that you guys found the crane, but then to give both of you control, I was like, okay, so this went from potentially really hard to a lot easier. But I mean, I think it worked out great because I mean, it just sucks to get bogged down in a fight, And
Yeah.
I think that would have just dragged out so much. And so then to be able to use it and pick him up afterwards. It's just hilarious to think about you guys slamming him around the floor.
Yeah, that was great. I liked that. Let's see. Any notable loot? I don't remember anything really that interesting.
No, not really from that guy.
So
Yeah, I mean, what did you think about the whole encounter overall? Having
was
that being the first time.
While you were away, I was saying that it was a very interesting encounter,
Mhm.
because of the fact that we were actually fighting an actual ship,
Yeah.
which was different, very different. I did enjoy it. It was pretty fun. So I didn't have to do anything. I just played the chain. What was that? What's that? Uh, the arcade machine
Yeah. Where
thing.
you grab the toys out of the yeah.
Yeah. What's it
Claw
called?
machine.
Claw machine.
Claw-
The claw
Thank
machine,
you.
yeah.
Thank you.
I'm thinking of Toy Story with all the little aliens. Cool. I don't even remember what they say
The
anymore.
claw.
The claw, yeah.
Adam says it's one of the more entertaining fights. Ooh.
Oh yeah, what did you like about it, Adam?
I'm pretty sure
Anything in
there's a
particular?
there's a big delay. I don't know why.
We'll get back to him.
Yeah.
Gotta involve the listeners.
I know, but I don't know why there's such a big. Usually, when I used to mod for someone who streamed on YouTube, like the delay was way better on YouTube. But now it's
Probably because we have a terrible producer.
We should fire him.
all right.
We're paying him too much.
You're taking my job.
Finally, someone qualified.
Instantly, the delay gets better.
Yeah. It just starts walking around on the keyboard.
Well, until Adam gets back to us, we rats encountered 2 broken doors. So totally broken, and not just because he sucks.
I think absolutely it makes sense though for rats to be like, of course it's not my fault.
Yeah.
The whole rats
Well-
on a ship while people slapping said ship with a crane. Yeah.
As far as the broken doors go, like Rats has been able to crack in via computers or just like actually ripping apart the systems through engineering. He's been able to get through like anything that's stopped the team from advancing. And so to get to this high tech, like top of the line military vessel and be stopped by a door with, like, I don't know, I feel like that would kind of break his confidence a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So just to keep up airs, because he's an icon in the universe, like he's like, oh yeah, it can't be my fault, must be something wrong with the mechanisms.
Yeah, no, it totally like fit his personality. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, in the moment, I remember like prepping everything. I'm like, okay, so these are the closer rooms. Probably going to go to these rooms. I'll prep everything, but I'll really focus on these rooms. And as the doors were broken, I'm like, oh, okay, let me go to the next room. Oh, not that one. Shit, now we're at the least prepared room for me. But it totally, I love thinking about Rats saying that. Like, it's just broken. It's not me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, maybe that'll make you second guess in the future when you prep rooms.
I'll just prep the end of everything first and work my way back.
Oh, I was gonna say you should just make all the doors easier.
Yeah.
Just to really save you, Chris, not us.
I mean, it is all about
Yeah.
me.
We're just really thinking about your well-being.
You're so sweet.
Okay, and then we encounter an unbroken door with an undead creature who we later find out is named Malachar. We converse with said creature and then eventually fight her. Anything there that you guys want to comment on? There was a sticky bomb involved. I know that.
We got that armor from that undead thing that was choking out Razel, like at the end of the last book.
Oh right, yeah.
And so my AC was like, it got supercharged to the point where I was like almost unhittable for like a majority of this book so far, and then coming up against Malachar, who is just like a powerhouse when it comes to shooting those antique guns.
Yeah.
I just felt like I was getting blasted every turn.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Did you got hit with both shots when the door first opened?
Yeah. And then Razel got shot once, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was like, oh, I'm walking around feeling like a superhero with my 30 AC, and then all of a sudden all of these guys are rolling over 30s. I'm like,
Yeah.
son of a bitch.
You see that question, Chris?
No.
You don't have
I'm not
a
on
chat
YouTube.
up? Okay. Adam says, could you just put the prepared rooms behind the doors that get opened, or is it strict in the adventure path?
Oh, like swap rooms around?
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose you can always move things around like that, but just as far as the map layout is, it's kind of hard to switch things around. You know, the artwork would be different, but certainly if I was doing my own maps, you know, kind of like we used to do, drawing them out with dry erase and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little more freedom there.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. So we stopped mid combat and then we headed on to episode 128.
Yeah. And Malachar was now our ally-ish.
Well, we killed her first.
Well, that's true. I forgot it took 2 episodes to kill her.
Let's see here. Finish the fight with Malachar is what I have written down. I think I finished her off with a crit if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think it's from the step up and strike as well.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And then I didn't get my critical thing didn't matter again. It's never mattered.
Yeah, I'm so bummed about that because I really want
No,
those to matter.
not even
and
a card. My critical
Oh.
effect didn't even matter.
That's right. Yeah, because there's just so much damage.
think it
and
was
she was down to hardly anything.
That and it was bleed, so she's immune to bleeding.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like those. I just don't know if it's this part of the adventure, and I mean, it's really been since we've. When did we start using those crit cards? Was that from the beginning or like around book 2 or something?
Yeah,
It's
it
been a
was
while.
mid-adventure. I don't remember exactly when.
And I just feel like they've never really had an impact, and I wanted them to. And then the few times that they did, like I remember Raquel was confused or something from one of them, and we just forgot to do that for the next 2 rounds.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, you were confused for like 2 rounds, and then we just never got around to it. And I'm like, huh. So when they do matter, we forget to apply them, and then they typically don't matter. So
I mean, I'm fine with that because some of the ones that we've come across allow our enemies to just attack again. And
Yeah.
yeah, there are some weird ones, and that's super frustrating. Like I wish they wouldn't get so creative with them. Like just have something simple and detrimental happen, you know.
Mhm.
But I mean, so many of these things have been against these undead creatures, and it just, or they have this, you know, you go down some weird poison track, and that creature just happens. So I just wonder if it's just we've had that many coincidences where it doesn't apply, or if they just suck. And I hope they don't suck because I bought them.
Yeah. Anything about the fight with Malachar?
I don't know. What do you guys
Anything
think of
else?
it? Like, tell me, like, any thoughts, any questions you have that I may or may not be able to answer.
How mad were you that you forgot about her? What was it? Frightening presence.
Yeah, it was. Let me see where it. Oh, it's not on her sheet right here. It's at the back in the Alien Archive. But I was pissed. I mean, it's just. I like to present these creatures as real as I possibly can, and they've got some abilities where I don't even use them because, you know, it gives you the before combat, the during combat, the morale stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll say, you know, you do this, and this. And I'll be like, but there's that ability and you don't say anything about that. And I guess I could go with it and play it the way I want. But I think part of the encounter, like they write it that way so that you don't use a certain ability because it might be overwhelming. or they're just trying to describe the way that character is. So I try to play it as true as I can, and I just hate it when I miss simple things like that. I mean, that would have made that encounter a little bit more challenging. I still think you guys would have taken her out pretty easily, but just for it to be mashed like that because I forgot something, like, I hate that.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, like, I think after the fight was over, Kevin, you were looking at the sheet and said she had spell resistance, which I don't know if that came to play. I can't remember if rats cast any spells or not
Nope.
during
Well,
combat.
Not during
I was-
combat.
Okay.
I was trying to be conservative with my spells, knowing we had just gotten into this place and figuring that, we're heading towards the end game of the AP. Like, I need to be conservative with my resources, otherwise we're gonna get to the big bad at the end of it and not have any spells to deal with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then that makes me feel a little better about forgetting spell resistance. It was just a translation thing. I was putting her into Hero Lab, and I just missed that one thing.
Oh, okay.
So it's right here on the Alien Archive, but it wasn't in Hero Lab. So,
Gotcha.
but yeah,
Ultrawave asks, was there any way Malachar could have been won over to help without spells?
That's what I was wondering too.
just through straight diplomacy.
Yeah.
Because she did not care for the big boss guy, it seems like.
Or someone higher up at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could she have been won over? I don't know if it would be possible by the rules that you could roll diplomacy high enough to get her, because I think she's would be
Hostile?
considered hostile, which
Yeah.
puts that way out. But even if by some chance, like, she didn't get to say it before she died, but there was no chance she was going to bargain with you guys. You were going to be on her side, and that's it.
Gotcha.
The party was just like a means to an end for her. I think when you were looking at the computer files, it said something along the lines of she was just waiting for an incident, minor incident, to try to embarrass everybody. And so when you guys showed up on the ship, that was the opportunity. Somebody breaks on the ship, she quells the threat, and then, hey, you guys all higher ups, look at how easily the ship was breached. I stopped the threat,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So kind of that thing.
Gotcha.
I think a lot of that stuff happened in an episode that's not out yet, Chris.
Is it? I don't know. Oh no.
At the end of 129, we hacked into the console.
Well, forget it then. Men in Black.
I think we got that idea anyway. I think that was one of the minor things that we already knew, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's talk about Animate Undead.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
We did it wrong. Yes. So, Chris, did you talk about it at the end of that episode?
Of what? Animate Undead?
Yeah.
We mentioned it before the Patreon stuff at the end of the episode.
Yes.
Just briefly touching on it.
No, it was 129 that we talked about it, I believe.
Oh,
Because we didn't know about it. No, was it? I don't remember. Hey, we're all patrons here. It's okay. Yeah, you get the inside scoop. So yeah, someone want to explain what we did wrong? If you don't already know.
This is the third time we'll be disclosing this information. But basically, it's a rule within a keyword within a stat block of many rules, and it was something that was missed. The universal monster rules for unliving basically say that the body's destroyed afterwards once the creature hits 0 hit points, and so there technically wouldn't have been a corpse left to reanimate or to animate.
Which is like when you were fighting the vampire at the end of book 3, I believe, it specifically says that when they die, they turn into like a pile of dust or something. And it doesn't say that with any of these other undead. It's just presumed that as part of the unliving trait, which I never got down to that part. It's like the last line, I think, on the descriptor. So, all is well that ends well, and she's on your side now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but what are you gonna do?
I mean, I don't think it's unfortunate that she's on our side.
Ultra says, "Screw the minor roles. It's more fun the way you all end up doing it." Heck
we'll
yeah.
appreciate that. I just got to get over the rules thing. Like I don't mind bending rules for epic moments or bending rules in gray areas, but like that kind of stuff is just like I don't sleep very well after we mess it up. But as long as everybody likes it, then that's all that matters.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I found out about it was because I asked in another Discord, is like, would this creature be able to talk? Because that's what we were asking about. This comes up in the next episode. Would this creature be able to talk? And they're like, no, but also this. So, yeah. Let's see. Next we found some security cameras, which let us view every room in this section of the ship, which we saw some ooze. We saw a bad room that had, what was it? It was like mounds of
Sand.
Sand. Yeah.
I'm really glad we did not go there.
Well, we might need to go there at some point.
Yeah.
But this is we can't really talk about that. That's stuff that's going to happen in a later episode.
Yeah. Remember, up to 129 is what people know about. Let's see. Rats failed a check with a 52. So that was interesting.
Yeah, that was definitely one of those moments where I was like, "Oh, hell yeah, we're going to game the AP like
With a natural 20.
Rolled a natural 20 with a character that is optimized for computers and still failing.
Yeah.
with
That's
over
insane.
50, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I almost didn't even want to ask Rats for computers checks anymore because your bonus is like what, plus 20 something?
Yeah, I think currently it's a plus 23.
Yeah, it's like I almost feel like silly. Like, why am I even asking for this check? He's gonna crush it.
I think we find out later, well, in 129, that if somebody had aided me on that computer's check, the first one, I would have been able to crack into the computer.
Yeah. Let's see here. We leveled up, except for Mr. Sev. Oh, speaking of, Ryan's not here. I forgot to mention that he had to work tonight, so he wasn't able to make it.
What do you mean? I thought Ryan was in your lap this whole time.
Yeah, Ryan's right here, or at least Ryan's replacement.
Just like when we record, how Ryan always sits in your lap.
Yeah, he sits right here.
We weren't supposed to tell anybody that. That's extra.
Oh, sorry.
That's tier. That's the 5th tier.
Let's see here. Where was I at? Yeah. So level up. We leveled up to level 12. Was it 11? I forget. Anybody remember?
I think it's level 11 now.
I can't remember. But yeah, that's fun. I got some cool abilities. I liked them. Ryan is an anamorph. I knew it. And then
oh no, he held this form too long. He's trapped like that forever.
Let's see here. And then
Please.
We found in the security cameras, we found a room with a drow, undead drow, or elf-like creature, I should say. And we went to open the door, and then the episode ended.
Yeah, like so many episodes too.
Yeah. And then
It's convenient.
Now let's get on to episode 129, where the door opens. And then we had the drow had a awkward conversation with Malakar, who can't speak.
Yeah, that was hard to figure out, like whether she could speak or not, and I think ultimately it came down to a dice roll.
Yeah.
So it certainly could have influenced the scenario a lot more, but I don't know. Do you feel like if she could have spoken, would rats have to tell her what to say then?
Yeah, I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
Like
I have no idea.
If you brought like another living creature back from the dead, how would that interaction go?
What?
Like if it was not an undead creature, like like if we would have done the spell correctly.
I mean, it'd still function the same way.
Oh right, yeah, because it's still duh.
I just wonder how the scene plays out differently if she can speak, if there's like information you could get out of him or not. Because I think ultimately her not speaking left him confused enough to
Be able to
kind of let his
fail
guard
a
down.
stealth check.
To be able to what?
To be able to fail that stealth check.
Yeah. No, it's just he kind of regarded her as an ally at that point, and her not speaking was either probably confusing, but allowed him to kind of like fill in the blanks for himself. Like, let's just deal with this threat, and then we can figure out what's wrong with you. Or it could have just been an out and out like, hey, I'm here and challenging you. Like would have I'm just wondering how it plays out differently if she can speak. If you would have tried to have rats speak through her and try to get more like diplomatic and get information that way and move on, or not.
Adam says it worked in weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
Mainly it was like, the last time we opened a door, I got shot in the chest. So I was putting Malakar in that position in case there were any environmental hazards when we opened the door. And then once it was confirmed that there weren't, and that it was just the undead guy in there, I was really hoping that she could get him into a better position for us. But it just seems like with a lot of the NPCs, whenever I try and do anything to get them to act a certain way, they just don't do any of that stuff. They just don't react the way I would like.
Yeah. He was definitely wrapped up in his work, and I try to reason through that. Like, would he do this? Would he not? And just given the relationship between the two, he's just very dismissive of her. He's more into his work, and so I didn't think he would actually leave the room. But I will say that being able to get through that door so well on the second time, where it didn't take you, well, you got through the check the second time, and then having her in the doorway really changed the conditions of the combat. Well, at least how they would have played out. Now, I don't understand why Starfinder, like how they ever expect it to matter, but the room that you were in, the atmosphere can be adjusted. And so if he was alerted to your presence in any way, he was going to start pumping in like a toxic atmosphere. And I'm reading the encounter and I'm like, when does this ever matter? In this AP, people either have life bubble, they have their environmental protections, and so it's like, yeah, you guys got by with that, but then like I'm just trying to figure out a situation where that actually affects the party in any way.
Yeah, that's weird.
It is. It's totally weird, but
I mean, if I guess
there's a few races that can survive without environmental protections and in a vacuum of space. So I guess in those cases, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that would be like a really small corner case that wouldn't really affect most parties that are going to go through the AP.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
So
unless
it's,
they
I
don't
mean,
have a magic caster, I guess.
yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't
even-
know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But at the end of the day, having Malachar stand there, I mean, that was huge because it really let his guard down, and he focused all of his attacks on you, and it was like what, 1 or 2 rounds, and he's gone.
Mm-hmm. Ultrawave asks, is there some sort of psychic bond between the caster and the raised creature? I have
Kind of.
the text up. It says, this spell turns corpses into undead creatures that obey your spoken commands. Keyword is spoken commands. The undead can be made to follow you, or they can be made to remain in place and attack any creature entering the area. And the only other thing that I can see that says anything about like being under control, it says the undead you create remain under your control indefinitely. But nothing about like a psychic link or anything.
Yeah, it's a controlled spell basically. Like
Mm-hmm.
I get to control all of its actions. It's basically just a mindless undead, as far as I understand.
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting to see where she goes in life.
Yeah. Adam says they don't react the way you want, then crit on a hit. LOL. More like a magical link, if anything. Yeah. Let's see. So where were we? And then we find out that when we get into the combat, we find out that it is similar to those things we fought on Eox, and Razel stopped breathing or couldn't breathe for a while.
Yeah, how'd that feel?
I almost passed out.
Yeah, I like that in your role play of not being able to breathe, you were hyperventilating.
Could the link spell work on her? Oh, that magical link thing with that
Telepathic
Raquel
bond.
Raquel had? Yeah.
No, because the mind effect.
Oh, right. It's a mind affecting spell. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she would be immune to it.
Yeah.
I think.
All my stuff is useless.
It's not useless. You can use that with the rest of the team.
Well, yeah, but Ratstone said he doesn't want anyone in his head again. And I don't want to be linked up to 7 Razel.
Telepathic bond is what we're talking about. Let's see. Let's see here. Starfinder. I spelled Starfinder wrong, guys. No,
Spelled
that's
Starfinder wrong.
Pathfinder.
And now I'm on a porn site.
The heck? Oh, I spelled Starfinder.
So while Kevin's looking that up, what's the opportunity for Raquel to swap out those spells? I don't know how. I mean, I know there's
Level
something in
up.
the rules when you level up, but what,
Yeah,
like,
but
how many
that's only
spells can you
one.
change?
1, right?
Just one.
I think so. I wouldn't be able to
think
just
so.
do like a full revamp.
I think you can.
No, I don't think you can do full revamp, but I didn't know if there was more leeway to change or not.
Telepathic it doesn't say anything. It's a special ability. Or SP. What is SP? Special ability or something?
Spell-like?
Spell-like ability. It functions as telepathic bond. Well, yeah, I know. God damn it. Archives of Nethys, your search function needs to be better. Let's see. Spells. Here we go. Divination. Doesn't say anything. It's the divination spell. Doesn't say anything about mind affecting. Has to be a willing creature. No, yeah, it doesn't say anything about mind affecting on here. So take that with what you will. Des.
All right, fine.
Let's see here. So we murdered him, and then we found a key card, one of our key cards that we were looking for. And then we found out what that room was used for, which was cultist torture.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that, Chris?
They probably enjoyed it too, given the encounters you've had with them.
Very true. Very true.
Torture.
Ugh. That's so gross to think about. Like the undead trying to figure out how to better torture living creatures, and
Right.
the cultists going like, yeah, daddy.
Oh
Well, you know, I think he alluded to it in the conversation with Malakar that he had some disappointing results with them or something like that. And so he was trying to go over his notes to figure out how to best prepare for the next round of specimens.
It's like,
So-
yeah, they were just into it the entire time up until they died.
I don't like it. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, they had encountered the cultist at some point, and tried to glean some information about, from them about things, but obviously it was a disappointing encounter. So
you didn't just murder him, you disarmed him. Yeah, I did.
yeah, I remember that.
Let's see. So after that room, we headed towards this zombie computer room having a LAN party. You said there were 16 of these computers with zombies at them with their
16 stations all full of zombies. Yeah. And I think I showed you guys the artwork. I thought it was pretty
Oh, I wish I had that.
pretty
I
spooky.
could show it to you, y'all, but I don't have it on. I don't have it. You have it.
Terrible producer.
Hey, someone didn't send me pictures. That's not my fault.
Hey now.
You're an all-star.
It's game on, man. So I don't know how did you guys feel entering that room? Like as players. I know how
It
the
was
characters felt.
creepy as hell.
Yeah,
I was afraid that they were going to come to life and punch us in the dick.
There was definitely a spookiness aspect to that room. Like, it's all dark. It's only lit up by computer screens. You got all these dead guys sitting there, like, just not reacting to anything. I was just waiting for something to happen. And that tension is, like, one of the best things you can use in kind of a horror setting. It's just, like, us sitting there waiting for something to happen that's never going to happen.
Yeah, I loved I don't know, there's just times when you can sense it from the players, and so then you just play up on that, and then in the moment, like, just knowing how, I guess I got a little bit of a cue because when we were going through the security cameras, you guys were getting a glimpse of the room, and I think Rats said, like, or maybe it was just Alex, had no interest in going into that room, and so I was like, okay, cool. So when you finally went to it, I guess, like, the chance of an encounter there is very low, so I didn't even have people on the map. You remember I started adding them in because I took that cue. I was like, well, they're super concerned about this. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to start putting these icons in here to, like, really vamp up the tension. And I could just see it.
I
on
can
your
see
faces.
that, Chris, is what I said.
Yeah. But yeah, intentionally, like, oh, I just forgot to put them in here because it was just, and there is a chance that they do attack. But I mean, there was just certain set of circumstances that have to take place for that to happen. So by putting them in there, it just raised that bar even more. And I love getting those reactions.
Of course you do, Chris.
Oh, it's. I mean, it's just you can pat yourself on the back when the players are like scared, like completely involved in the situation. I love it.
Rave music would have helped for that room.
Yeah.
So many cleanup spells cast. Oh, I just realized I forgot to add in sound effects for that.
We'll put that in the director's cut, the rave music.
Let's see. So we hack into one of the zombies, or I shouldn't say rats hacks into the zombie while Raquel held the head, and we got some information, which gave you a +2, an additional +2 to the check for the security room back in Malakar's room.
Yeah,
which we.
Well, I mean, not quite. If I remember correctly, it was a +2 to any of the systems for the rest of the ship.
Yeah, because basically,
because I now understand the networking better of like the undead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But hold on, I want to go back to the idea of hacking into the zombie. Like I could just hear, like from watching The Walking Dead, I can just hear like the blood splurting and the flesh being torn, and like that's just got to be like the weirdest thing, even for Rat's a computer genius. Like I'm sure he's never done that before, and just like what's going through his head as he's doing that.
Well, I mean, one of the things that The Walking Dead is missing out is having computer hardware mounted into their zombies.
It really would improve the quality of the show.
Also, good writing.
Yeah. Yes.
So I feel like the fact that there is computer hardware in that would kind of help mitigate the disgustingness of it, but it's still there. Like there's still a rotting corpse attached to this computer. So that's why, I mean, Rats has definitely shown that he is a bit of a clean freak, and having to get his hands all over this pus-covered, mushy skin and bones, like it wasn't a good feeling for him. That's definitely why he prioritized like consoles and trying to actually hack into the computer itself.
Do you think for Rats, he always puts out this air of confidence, like blaming the doors not working, it wasn't him, it's the hardware. So I mean, his just putting out this positive, like, I can do anything persona. Do you think there's ever like any part of him that's like been changed or altered from that experience or any of these experiences? Because he's definitely not encountered this sort of thing, I don't think, in his past before. Like, is this wearing on him in any way, even though he's trying to keep up a front?
So far, I would say no, because at the heart of the character, he was a professional video game player who joined up with an exploration team and has basically nailed it so far. And like I said earlier, he's on a enemy military vessel of the highest caliber, and it's difficult than what he's been put through so far, but he's pretty well nailing it. Like he went from playing video games in front of crowds to now he's like basically doing espionage and trying to take over a military vessel.
So you think he's like really loving the opportunity to be able to do all this, and that's overshadowing any potential horror?
It's still a scary situation. Like, I know that we're vastly outnumbered. He's mentioned several times that he thinks this is like the Starfinders basically send their people out on suicide missions. So I don't know if he's necessarily like amped up about it, but he's definitely feeling a little validated in his claims of being the best and, being unto a god, he's said in the past.
Yeah.
all summoning electrical forces and commanding undead.
Yeah, it makes me wonder because I've been thinking about this, because we like to create characters on the side just for the heck of it, and I like going for some of the more outlandish options in the book, and it just makes me wonder how things would affect people in this world. Like where if we saw skeletons walking around, that'd be a lot different story for us. But like when you're a character that exists in a world where there's all kinds of aliens and different things, like oozes crawling around that are sentient, or just the weirdest of creatures. At what point would you really see something and just be totally scared? You think a lot of this stuff would be rather common. I mean, I think at some point you might be scared because that death is imminent or prevalent, but just looking at an alien species, it makes me wonder at what point you would be fearful of it just because of the way it looked. I don't think that would happen too often, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of things that we kind of hand wave and don't acknowledge. And to your point, I think it's because these characters live in a universe where there are vast numbers of aliens that all look gross and disgusting and have weird smells. So a lot of the stuff you would just naturally be used to dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Like the corpse fleet is a little bit of a different ball game because they're hidden, they're actively working against you, and with undeath there's always weird horrors that you don't expect, because it's like not a natural thing in the universe. You have to go out of your way to become undead.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of people that really seek it out, which to me is strange why you'd want to make the transition, but there's a lot of benefits to being undead.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there really are. People work their whole lives. If you read some of the lore, I mean, they, the one creature you encountered on Eox, worked at the I can't remember what her name was. She was a ghoul, but she actually worked towards that. So
Juanita Trucks.
Juanita Trucks, yeah. So like where some people might encounter Eoxians and be terrified of them, other people are like, yeah, I want to be one day.
Yeah.
But it just reinforces like at what point. And I would like to ask Kevin and Des, like, do you think your characters are just kind of like, yeah, cool, or they're just like, shit is scary? Like, I'm just kind of curious where that line is for characters that are used to this sort of thing.
I think my line is a lot different than what Kevin's or Razel's line would be, just because, like, yeah, okay, so Raquel lives in this universe, but she's really kind of sheltered for being in existence there. The most she's seen is during these adventures, and I mean, God, I don't know. Like that's a tough question, because like she's gonna be the one to want to see the best in everything. So she's not gonna want to judge a book by its cover. But I mean, there's definitely some things that I don't think she'd be like, oh yeah, cool. This is just fine. I just don't know where that line necessarily is.
Yeah. It just makes me wonder if it's that unknown thing that would cause a character to have that fear. Like if you're somebody that goes around gallivanting through space and you're used to seeing those unusual things, then maybe it doesn't faze you as much. But if you're somebody who hasn't been out that much,
yeah,
and you encounter something unknown, the fear comes from the unknown, right? So maybe that's what it is.
That's true.
I'm going to try and catch up on chat. Adam asks, are Eoxian people strictly human? Are there any undead species? Eoxians are. I know it's Eoxians aren't a thing. It's Alebrians,
Well,
right?
an Eoxian is a person from Eox,
Right.
but Alebrians are the race that are like dominant.
They're
on
similar to
Eox.
humans, but they are not humans. They were alive before the gap, and then sometime during the gap, they turned into undead creatures. I think, from what I'm reading here.
Yeah, it's interesting. So they the diaspora, the asteroid belt, is believed to be created from a conflict between Eox and a former planet that was there. Supposedly, they fired a massive weapon and it destroyed whatever planet was there.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, the weapon devastated their atmosphere, like burned it up. And so rather
two
than
planets they were fighting
two
against.
planets.
Yes, they were called the twins.
That's right. Yeah. And so it burned up their atmosphere, and they were like, "Well, we don't want to freaking die," so they turned to undeath, basically. And so the Alebrians are like, I don't know, just think of like cone heads, but not stupid. Like that's kind of the way they look is that cone head look. But I believe there's very few of them left in existence because most of them had to turn to undeath.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, pretty much any race can become an undead, but it's like the way the Eoxians treated it's so highly prized. You basically have to work for however long the person wants you to. But you encountered somebody on Eox as well who was in the middle of. I don't think you talked to him, but he was in the waiting room with you, with Juanita Trucks. And if you would have talked to him a little bit more, you would have kind of learned his deal.
Mm-hmm.
And he was basically working for like 20 years to be able to be turned into an undead.
You mean a powerful weapon? You mean like a stellar degenerator? Let's see. Ultrawave says if you have an incurable disease, then becoming an undead instead of just dying would be a better option.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, guess so.
Yeah, you get down to no other options. That's like the miracle cure. And I mean, you live forever, so you trade. I don't know. I guess you just trade what you're used to for something that maybe you're not quite sure of, but it's got to be better than dying.
Yeah, I mean, you can still be destroyed, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm. But I mean, you're immortal.
Yeah,
you can still die, but yeah, you're immortal.
All right. Let's see here, and then after, what were we talking about?
What you find, what would kind of scare you a bit coming across, like encountering stuff. I can't talk apparently.
Where the fear potentially would come from for a character that lives in this universe and is used to a whole variety of different aliens. Like,
yeah.
Razel, he's combat veteran. Is there any line where he would be afraid of something just based on how it looks, or if not on how it looks,
he'd be afraid of something he can't punch, which is incorporeal creatures.
Okay, so but then where does that fear come from? Is it you're afraid that you can't punch them? Why? It's not because of what they look like or anything like that. Is what's that fear coming from?
I think the fear would be that it can hit you, but you can't. It can hurt you, and you can't hurt it.
So powerlessness.
Exactly.
All right. I think I want to delve deeper into his childhood and see where this fear.
All right, that's
first
the
started.
end of the stream.
No, it's just getting good.
I'm scared of deep bodies of water, so I won't do well in Starfinder universe.
In deep bodies of water? Who's that?
Adam.
Adam?
Yeah, I hate
deep bodies of water.
Yeah, that. Whenever I see like pictures of I remember reading this book. It was about the Titanic, and then there was a book about the guy who found the Titanic, and then he also found another ship called the Bismarck, and there would always be pictures underwater, and it's always the creepiest thing, and I'm like scared the hell out of me. Oh my god.
I love underwater stuff though.
Deep water just freaks me out.
I just got done reading that SCP that Ryan. I'm sad he's not here to talk about it. That Ryan told me about, where you walk by like a lake or something, and there's just like bodies floating in the water.
What?
And like if you get too close to it, then you start to recognize the bodies as people that you know. So then you're like drawn to go into the water to save them, and then you like get sucked into the water and become like
One of
part
those
of it.
bodies.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
That's-
I read that and I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna stay away from the ocean for a while.
I'm out.
I mean, isn't the ocean just Earth's space?
I mean, astronauts train in water, so
that,
yeah.
that was a sentence. Yeah.
But it is.
I mean, yeah, it's there's all kind of alien creatures there, and then astronauts or not astronauts, like people that study space, they try to like look at remote places on Earth to try to figure out, find this part of Earth is like the most alien thing, like it would be on some other planet, and then study life there. So
Like people have found life in the under the ocean where there was like not magma spouting out. There's
Yeah.
life living in the magma. They found
Yeah.
out somehow. Like
so
stuff
yeah,
like
I mean,
that.
totally. You can get there's an old show. I haven't. What's it called? They're in submarines. It was like Star Trek underwater, and like basically that's what they did. I can't think of what it is now. It was on like back in the 90s, I think.
Oh.
Sequest is what it is.
That sounds
But
familiar.
yeah, I mean, it's totally like what you're talking about. So like it's just like space, but it's underwater.
It's like space, but underwater.
Underwater.
And then we finish off the episode heading back to Malakar's room and hacking into security with 56 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
And
Is Earth still around in the Starfinder world? Actually, yes. Because isn't there an Pathfinder AP where you go to Earth?
I don't know, but I remember we talked about how Earth was supposed to be in the whole Pathfinder, Starfinder universe, which I think is totally cool.
Yeah, I want to say that that's a thing that happened. And the Starfinder universe is in the Pathfinder universe.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I feel like that is a thing, but I can't remember which. It's so massively deep and wide, there is no way we will discover everything in our lifetime. Oh, the ocean, 100%. 100%.
That's cool as hell.
Alex, were you going to say something about the end there?
About the end?
Yeah. I thought you were going to speak up. Maybe I'm crazy.
While we're talking about deep water and all that stuff, I was talking to Adam last night, and Des a little bit about that movie Underwater with Kristen Stewart.
I don't think I know that
And the whole thing it takes place on basically the equivalent of a space station, but is underwater, and they are on, it's like a drilling expedition, and they drilled too deep and unleashed something, and then it's one of those like survival horror thriller movies.
This is the movie that she was like, everyone was like, oh, she can actually act.
That's because she gets Twilight connected to her all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff, a lot of themes, and like that being in space kind of connect with being that deep underwater, like miles and miles underwater. There's this shot in the movie, it's kind of early on, where they all like their space station is collapsing, something's ruptured it, and it's losing pressure all across the thing, so they all have to jump into these suits and walk across the floor of the ocean to try and get to this other station that's like miles away from them. And they get into the suits, they submerge themselves, and they're opening the door, which is going to unleash the full pressure of the bottom of the ocean on them. And this guy's mask starts to crack.
Oh, God.
And they're like, wait, don't let the doors open. And it's too late. The doors open and this guy's mask just cracks and then he blows up because of
Oh, jeez.
pressure crushing his helmet and going into the suit. He just blows up.
So that's not what actually would happen because Mythbusters did it. What would happen
He
would
went to the very
all of
depths
his
of-
body would be sucked up into his helmet.
Ugh.
The helmet is the part that failed, though, so that's false.
Yeah, that's the part that failed in.
Mythbusters.
Mythbusters was testing a deep sea bell diver suit.
Yeah.
That's not. This is a futuristic, basically spacesuit that was made out of a polymer, and then his helmet shattered, so there wouldn't be anywhere for him to suck into a helmet. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
The bell of the suit is the thing that he was sucked up into in Mythbusters, but that isn't there because the helmet exploded.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, we're all scientists.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, I was just jumping back to Earth again real quick. So I can't find it in a like what AP it was in or anything like that, but there's just an article on Pathfinder Wiki. It just said Earth, also known as Jasum, is a planet in a galaxy far from Galarian, yet similar in many ways. Magic was once as prevalent on Earth as it is on Galarian, but as time wore on, magic and mysticism were replaced by science and tech. And now magical creatures have all but disappeared from the world, and existence of the supernatural is known only to a few mystics. In 4713 AR, also known as 1918 on Earth, a bitter and deadly war, blah, blah, blah. So
wait, does that mean that Starfinder and all that stuff is real and we just don't know it?
Yeah. Exactly.
The people that created it are mystics?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
I remember I was given a speech in speech class one time, and we had to do how-to speeches. And I couldn't think of anything. So being the big nerd that I am, I brought my Star Trek Next Gen Tech manual in. And I was like, all right, I'm going to explain to you how warp drive works on Star Trek. I said, like, on Star Trek, okay? So I get done giving the speech, and I remember this guy named Eric, I can't remember his last name is, but anyway, he's like, so you think all that stuff's going on up there right now? Like, no, I said it's in the TV show. I was like, I give up.
You should have just been like, yes.
Yeah.
Of course it is, Eric.
I've been abducted. You're next.
So and then rats hacked into the security, and we'll find out what we find out next episode.
Next time.
Booyah.
You said something about us speaking about a Patreon episode. Which one were you talking about?
This is episode 5. So
Okay.
you have just defeated the armors in the armor room. I forget what the name of the room is called. So you are now looting all of the armors, and you're eating glue, if I remember correctly.
All right. We're in that yeah, I don't know.
I'm really bummed that the glue didn't actually glue her mouth shut.
I mean, I kind of wish you would have, only because it's like, oh, Chris is gone.
Bye, Chris.
Oh, I'm back.
I kind of wish you would have had like some kind of effect, so then that way maybe she learns a lesson. Like, don't just try and drink anything we come across. But like
that's the only reason why. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I wanted to shut up. Like, I just love the idea of, oh shit, now what? And then we got to figure that out.
Oh, hold! I gotta update the spoiler alert. We got Patreon episode 5. Boom! Look at that.
at our producer producing things.
Man, I'm producing. Speaking of producing things, I know Ultra Ray wasn't here earlier, so I'm going to show a picture of Glowdrop. There's glow drop. And then Shelby, I just got this from Shelby. She drew glow drop. It's now in general chat in the Discord, and then I'm going to try and I saved it. Hold on.
Oh, what a cutie! He's got a little
That's
boxing gloves.
amazing.
Oh, I just saw Shelby sent that to me in a message and said, "Glow drop says fire your producer."
That's awesome, Shelby. Thanks.
Where did I save that at? Guys, where did I save it at? Glue. Why didn't that save as a... God dang it, Bobby.
Terrible
I
producer.
don't know what a JPEG is.
But just about as useless as JPEGs to Helen Keller.
All right. And then we're going to... Des, you are now glow drop.
I am now glow drop.
Yeah, I'm putting glow drop over you.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Let's see. Since Pathfinder and Starfinder are in the same universe, is Starfinder the future and Pathfinder is the past? I believe so, yes.
Yep.
Glue drop. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think nobody knows how long.
Because of the gap.
Yeah.
They specifically made the gap not known. They made the gap where you...
Indeterminate amount of time, Kevin.
That's the words I was looking for. And so that you could play around with it. So you don't have them interacting with each other. Or you can have them interact with each other if you want. And then Ultrawave says they made it to the mirror room. Yes, that is the episode we are going over.
Mirror.
So you guys looted the armor room. Tawny ate glue. That's pretty much all that happened. You went back through the auction room, and then you went into this new room, which had a bunch of lines of mannequins, and it looked like you were on a beachfront property.
Yeah, but can I know that it was joked around that I was hallucinating from the glue or something, but those gloves of reconnaissance, I like them. That was pretty cool. I was happy I had a chance to use it.
Yeah, it was pretty dope.
Are those per day use?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's once a day.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's pretty sweet ability to have. And I'm sad that we don't get to use it more.
Yeah. Well, maybe again. Who knows?
Before we go on to each room, we'll just rest that day.
Right. It'll take us 3 years to get through this box.
Probably.
It's like this is an AP or something.
Let's see here. So yeah, the mannequin room. It had some mannequins with some magical items on it, which I
had no idea. Galio was definitely fearful of what was going to happen, but I was just kind of like, I'm going to go see what this is. And then I realized I was playing me and not Galio. I'm going to get away from those. I was just waiting for them to start attacking us.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because we were told that this is there's traps everywhere. And even though I wrote that down so that I would remember to say, hey, we should check for traps, I keep forgetting it. It's just so easy to just walk right into the next room, and I'm just waiting for it to blow up in our face.
Reminded me of the mannequins from BioShock 1. Oh yeah. Yeah. I get that. Yeah, that totally makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Cool.
Some of you have played BioShock, right, Alex?
Yeah, I played it. I don't remember the mannequins though.
Oh.
I'm just glad that you get it. Because I don't know that game.
So after
You're always what?
So after a mannequin rejected Avery, you guys went into one of the towers. And
which I was thinking back, and I was early on we got into that auction room, and Avery's like, I'm not touching anything in here.
Yeah.
And then we get into the next room, and he's like, all right, let's take some of this shit. That's kind of bad roleplay on my part.
Yeah, it happens.
I feel like it was mostly just I'm antsy about what's gonna happen next. So
yeah.
See, I was thinking about it because you get done with the session. I don't know about you guys, but I get done with the session. I kind of go back over it in my mind, and there's things I'm happy with, things I'm not, and so like there's things that I'm not. I try to like figure out what I'm going to do with it. How I'm going to fix it next time. And I was chalking up like those decisions that you make that are out of character. Like it's just the first season of a show. Like random stuff happens sometimes until you kind of find your flow, and I think that's what it was for me. So I don't know if that helps you, Alex, but it's just the first season.
Yeah.
Maybe he just has a weakness for loot, says Ultrawave.
What is it?
Maybe he just has a weakness for loot.
Oh. Yeah, we don't know.
I guess we'll find out.
I don't get out to the stores often.
So
There was that like bloody arm or something, right?
yeah, there was a bloody like scene that happened that you guys ran into, and it led up to this tower. But the blood, like the mannequins weren't part of they weren't the cause of the blood, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
I thought like I don't know. I was looking at that, and I kind of, to me, it made sense that that's where we would go.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at this big room, like there's blood over here. We got to figure out what's going on. So, but I kind of like, I really did think that the mannequin was the source of the blood. And like, we were on to this mystery to figure out like, why is this mannequin bleeding? Because we keep getting told about that,
Mannequins that bleed?
No, about all this illusion stuff. And
okay.
I was stopping myself in case I was giving something away again that I shouldn't have. But yeah, I was just like, that's what I thought the mystery was. And I had no idea. And I totally regret going over to the blood.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys head up this tower and go to this room full of mirrors. And then eventually a skeleton comes out and attacks. And Ultrawave says, yeah, the show hasn't grown its beard yet. And then Adam says the mirror fight reminds me of the Haku fight from Naruto. Never seen Naruto, so
like I guess that's another what anime thing.
Mm-hmm.
See, I've got Bleach. I've watched a little Bleach. And
I have Bleach too.
You have Bleach too? Nice.
I'm watching it right now.
We've got
Oh, there's so
I don't know
many
how many she's
mirrors. I'm just skipping through it.
That might be all the anime I've watched actually.
I don't think I've ever seen an anime. Let's see. And then big thing happened was there was a crit that happened, which caused Avery to do something interesting. If you want to talk about that, Alex.
Getting critical? Yeah, sure. It sucks ass.
I gotta tell you though, like I did not realize, like in the moment, like how bad that was, because I think it was after the fact that we were talking like that you might get killed, or I don't know. Like I was just kind of like, oh, you got crit, that sucks. But like I keep thinking like that you're a pretty tough character so far, and so I had no idea how dangerous that crit was.
Yeah.
Well, criticals in Pathfinder are deadly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially as you like low levels, it can just wipe out a low level character. High levels, you're dealing with creatures that are so powerful that if they critically hit you, it can just end your character's life in one hit.
That happened to my first character. Just a 3 times crit out of nowhere, dead.
Oh, Pathfinder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah, so I mean, a critical is no small thing in Pathfinder, and then stack that with a regular hit on top of it.
And I forgot damage.
It's a bad situation, but because of my character's I'm blanking on what they're called, prestige class.
Yeah.
Because of my character's prestige class, he's not just a normal alchemist, he is a master chemist, which I don't think has been said on the show at all. I could be wrong about that. But basically, that says that when he takes a critical hit or if he fails a fortitude save, I believe, basically this alternate form takes over to kind of protect him, his mutated form. And we find out that it's a lot different from Avery.
Like a Jekyll and Hyde or something, right?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the poor thing about this is that it still takes up your action for the turn, a standard action, which means that I just took a big critical hit, and then I don't really get to do anything on my turn.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize. So that it takes your standard action, but then you can. So you have a move action once it gets back around to your turn.
Yeah. I mean, the transformation happens on my turn.
Yeah.
It takes
Oh, I
my
see.
standard action.
Oh man,
That's why he had
so,
to
I
make
mean,
a
is
will
it-
save on his turn.
So, so is it a benefit to you or not? I mean, that's what I don't understand. Is it like you're more powerful, but your intelligence goes down? Is it that kind of thing?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly how it goes.
So, I mean, is it a benefit or is it more of a curse? Like, what is it? I don't understand with the class.
Both.
That's just the pool of the class.
Okay.
You know, you're struggling between a Hulk basically and
Bruce
a
Banner.
Bruce Banner.
Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's just I knew there was something weird about it, but then when it happened, I'm like, oh dang! I don't know if it came through at the right moment or not.
Oh, dang.
Hey, this is a kid show, at least on my end of the mic.
And that's how we ended the episode. So, yeah. We did record episode 6 the other night. That was interesting. So, look forward to that in
2-ish weeks. Right?
6 days.
Yeah, don't have to wait long. Yeah.
See that makes this difficult. Our live streams happen
Yeah.
almost
I was
a
thinking
month
about that today.
after the Patreon show comes out.
Yeah.
And I have a ton of stuff that I want to talk about for episode 6.
Yeah.
But a month from now, I'm going to have forgotten most of that.
Well, you got to write it
hey,
down.
maybe we do a special.
Schedule. We could reschedule our live stream.
Well, the reasoning behind putting it at the end of the month was it gives people who subscribe in a month, if they get to $10, if they want to do the $10 tier, like almost any day during that month, they'll get access to the live stream because the live stream will happen at the end of the month. But yeah, I totally get that. I was thinking about that today. If there was a better way to do it, if you guys have any ideas, let us know.
Yes, please. We love the interaction.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we're trying to end the stream right now, but before we do,
We've
can
been
I
going
point out
for almost 2
Alex's
hours.
shirt? Like his shirt. I enjoy the Gryffindor thing, but I don't think we've ever pointed it out. Alex, unzip. I saw what shirt you had.
What?
Whoa.
Really fun shirt.
I'll unzip my shirt if you unzip your shirt.
Okay. There.
Look, I'm going to have to cut mine. There's no zipper. Okay.
I got a Funhouse sweatshirt. What do I have underneath?
There. See, look at that.
What is it?
It's like Starry Night, but with D&D stuff.
Nice.
Oh, look at that. Isn't
Yeah.
that cool?
It's very thematic.
I think that deserves a picture and an upload to the Facebook page
If you say so.
so I can actually see it because it's very
very
like
tiny.
this big on my screen.
Someone mentioned a while back, I think it was like a couple weeks ago, about character art.
Ultrawave, I think, said something about the website, right?
Yeah, someone was asking about the website. And we are working on character art for all of the Dead Sons characters. The Into the Unknown characters they are pre-made characters that you can find on, I think they're in the book. They're in the regular
I
book.
think, Kevin, I think that's a little bit of an overstatement to say that we're working on character art for all of the characters.
What do you mean?
That costs a lot of money to get art for all of the characters.
I know.
We
So
are
we're working on it. I did say we're working on trying to figure out a cost-effective way to do it. How about that? Does that work?
Yeah. Just saying we're working on it gives the implication that we're going to have some character art to view soon. That's how it sounds to me anyway.
Oh. Are we playing any games or is it too late? Well, we've already been going for 2 hours. I think we're gonna probably stop it there.
Who was asking?
Adam, I'm not playing any games at least. I'm probably gonna head to bed here soon.
I do, but next time we should definitely plan on it. If we know we're gonna have people tuned in, we can definitely plan it.
Yeah, if we can get something, scheduled, like as far as knowing what players are going to join us, then yeah, we'll definitely make sure to get a game going.
Why not do the monthly stream the week after the Patreon show?
Mm-hmm.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, I think we can consider doing that. Just have to see how everything works out, but sure.
Here's Quig.
Queeg. He's walking here.
He's walking here. All right. I guess that's it for the show. Thank you to Adam and Ultrawave for showing up.
For sure.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It's cool to have you here.
Yeah, it's awesome. Guess we will see you in Dead Sons on Monday morning, and then Puzzle Box comes out on Wednesday. And yeah. Anything to
spread the word?
Want to say? Spread the word. Tell all your friends.
Yeah, I love doing Puzzle Box and getting a chance to play. But man, it'd be sweet to just really be able to share the story with a bigger audience. So if you know
if you
anybody,
want to leave us a 5-star review on any of
Leave us a 5-star review on all your podcast apps.
All right. Well,
All right.
Yeah, we'll see y'all later.
all right.
Bye. How do I end the stream?
Come on, producer,
Oh God!
you're fired.
How do I? What? Yes, I want to end. Okay, there we go.